This is the overview of the new SURF4 upflow algae scrubber, which as of November 2013 is the largest upflow algae scrubber built. And so it's twice the size of the SURF2, and this will be a little overview of the parts of it before it's installed in a reef pool. Alright? So the basic layout is the same as the SURF2. You have the light going on top of the floating part, and the floating part stays in the sump or the pond or the display if you don't have a sump, and you can float it in the top of your display. And the basic idea is it grows algae in here, which consumes all your nutrients, your bad stuff, out of your water. And then of course the light sits right on top. And so that way the main advantage of these surf scrubbers is that you can just reach in and pull out the algae, and once it's growing good, and you don't have to take it to the sink. Alrighty, so now for some details. You might notice it's a bit larger. Of course it is twice as large as the SURF2. Here's the SURF2, the box right here, as you can see, a lot bigger than that. Alrighty, so it's exactly twice the surface area right here. It's also an inch deeper, which helps in the bubble removal, and gives you a little bit more room when you're reaching in to grab the algae and pull it out. And then the light, of course, is twice the size of the SURF2. Here's the SURF2 light, which doesn't have a sticker on it right now, but there is the basics comparison. Okay. And another thing besides the sheer size, and by the way, the SURF2 has 4 LEDs. The SURF4 light has 8 LEDs. Also, you can see that currently the twin power supply is going in. Each one powers 4 LEDs, and currently you can turn on 4 at a time, so you can have only 4 or you can have all 8. Currently, this is a 3D printed frame, and it was specially sized exactly for this application. So it has this overhang lip right here, fits exactly into the box, and unlike the SURF2, no light gets out the top of this. It is completely black looking from the top, and that's because you have this overhang right here, so it fits exactly right. And there is your kaleidoscope diffuser, light diffuser. This is plexiglass. It's very, very solid. You'll find it's a bit more solid than the SURF2. It's flat. This thing is very heavy. It's 1.5 pounds, which is why you have to have so much foam on the SURF4 box to keep it floating, because not only do you have twice the weight of the lid, you have twice the rocks here, the green grabber textures, and you have twice the box. You pretty much have twice everything. And even more than twice the volume inside, because not only is it twice as big, but it's actually another inch deep. So, but we're just going to count the twice as big average here. So let's just put this light aside and look at the box. So one of the big differences here between the comparing it to the SURF2 is that you have four inlets for air right here. Okay, so 4 tubings coming down, which of course is twice as many as the SURF2. The SURF2 has 2 tubes. Alrighty, so you have 4 tubes coming down, distributing the air into 4 separate places, which then bubbles up under, comes out the 4 holes here, and of course passes through the strings and gets hit with the red light on top and grows the algae on the strings, and then also on the green grabber white textures here, which is that's how it works. The surf scrubber works by growing algae on these tough attachment textures, which holds on to the algae. Otherwise the algae is going to float away and go back into the water. So then after the bubbles go up, the air comes out of the side of the lid here and comes up without salt spray or without really anything, just air. And the sound is absorbed by the side here. And then the water turns back down and goes into the drain holes here. And there's This has 4 drain holes. The SURF4 has 2 drain holes, here and here. Okay, so it's twice the draining, twice the upflow, twice everything. Sealed all the way around. So you have 4 inlets here, which is twice the SURF4. The SURF4 has 2 inlets. So this is exactly twice, and it is designed for 2 air pumps, such as we've been selling the Fusion 700 adjustable air pump, which has 2 outlets, which fits the SURF4 just fine. You'll need 2 of those for the SURF4, or one of those big pumps that has 4 outlets. 4 adjustable outlets would be great, and it would fit this exactly. Alrighty, so there you go. Air in, water out the holes here, which drains down, and no bubbles come out the bottom, so it is a built-in bubble remover system. And then only air comes out the top because this blocks the light. Okay, and that just kind of drops right in. You can use the power cords to lift this up as a handle if you want to do it with one hand, and then you can reach in and grab the algae like that. There's twice as many strings in here. There's a lot of strings. One of the still pictures, if you look at the still pictures of the SURF4, you'll see this hanging upside down, which shows the strings hanging like that. It shows a clear picture of how many strings there actually are. And for freshwater, that really helps. With the less dense stringy algae you get in freshwater, gives them more to grab onto, so that the algae growth doesn't go out the holes. Alrighty, so let's see what else here. We have the metal plate. The metal plate of the lid here, that is an aluminum plate, and that of course is painted black to let heat escape. And so you don't want to paint this or scrape it or cover it or anything like that when you're cleaning. If you want to set this down, you can drop it right in the water. It's waterproof, or you can set it on the ground like that. But don't set it upside down, because this black part needs to be up so it can stay cool. So, other than that, this should float in the water at this level right about here. This is your water line right about here. Now it's going to vary. When the filter's brand new, it might sink a little bit lower, but as this fills with algae, especially salt water, which is going to hold a lot of bubbles in the water, it's going to come up a little bit and your water line will drop, and that's fine. This has a lot of room for different levels of algae growth because it does have an extra inch in here, so really there's anywhere the water is here, it's going to be fine. One of the tricks when it's brand new and there's nothing in it but just open space, one of the tricks to making it silent when it's floating is just to push it down underwater and let it fill up with water, and then when you let go, for some reason it goes completely, absolutely silent. But of course, once you fill it with growth, the algae growth inside acts like a muffler. It not only absorbs basically all the sound, but any light that would go out the bottom holes, the algae growth in here will absorb, and then basically nothing goes out the bottom. But already with this light here on the top, because it has this overhang right here, it blocks out all the light from coming out the top. So again, this is a totally waterproof light. It's 1.5 pounds, very heavy, and you can just throw it in your tank and let it sink to the bottom, or you can set it over on the carpet or on the floor someplace. Just keep this side up. And let's see, I guess that is about it. There we go, all the different views. The 2 power supplies, currently using 2 separate power supplies. They are UL and CE rated, and they do have the American plug right here, which is also shown in the still pics. And if you want to run this outside of North America, just cut this off and put your own country type of plug on it, or get a little adapter. But the power supplies are already rated for both 120 and 240 volts, so you do not have to change these. They're ready to go for any type of electrical country. Also, one last thing, it does come with lots of tubing, because you have the 4 outlets here, and because this is expected to be probably installed in larger sumps and maybe in small ponds, koi ponds, and whatnot, it's expected that the pump might be a little further away. So it has actually 6 feet of quad airline. Quad airline is 4 airlines like this, okay, which matches this. And it's 6 full feet already set up for you. Whereas the SURF4, of course, only has 2 airlines, and it's 3 feet long because it's expected the air pump would be closer to it in smaller tanks, smaller pumps. So 6 feet here, this is included. The little connectors are included. All you need to do is have a pump, either 2 of the Fusion 700 pumps or 2 of the Whisper 300 pumps from Tetra. They work also, very powerful. But those pumps have 2 outlets, so you need 2 of those pumps to have 4 outlets to match these. Or get one of the bigger pumps that have 4 outlets, and then those are usually noisier pumps, and you could put the pump somewhere in a box or whatever, keep it quiet, or even in a different room. But you'll need to power all 4 of these. And then of course there's the instructions. Don't forget to read these. These cover both for the SURF4 and the SURF4. And there's also a problem-solving section in the back for people who have the most common questions. Covers that. And also this is a seaweed cultivator, so for those of you that are not trying to filter aquariums or ponds and you just want to grow algae, then this is designed exactly for that. So it's a little different environment. You're going to put it in a reservoir with fertilizer. You never want to add fertilizer to your pond or to your aquarium, but if you just have a tank or a garbage can and you're trying to grow algae on purpose, this is really ideal with all the space in here and the high brightness on the lights. You can grow a lot of algae and just reach in and pull it out. All kinds of things you can use the algae for those of you that want to grow algae on purpose. Okay, so that is all, and I hope you like your SURF4.